Well, hi there, and welcome to ITNET 112, and actually ITNET 111. I'll talk about that in a second. But this is Pat, and I've been looking forward to getting going with this class. So here we go. This, as indicated in our community, we will be using a single test-out product for both ITNET 112 and 111. Why is that? The product is really comprehensive, and there's so much good content there. Tony and I talked about it, and we really felt like we'd rather have you guys really get a good handle on this material and pass the certification exam, as opposed to trying to jam two different lab sim products, at you throughout the semester and basically have you just kind of, just skim over two. We'd rather have you really dig into a single lab sim product, and you're going to find out there's a ton of material here. So we're using a single lab sim for both of our classes. As far as the grades go, it's pretty much you're going to get one grade calculated based on these items down here. I'll show them to you in the syllabus in a little bit more detail. And that grade then will be used for both ITNET 112 and 111. So think of it as ITNET 112 and 111 now being a single 6-credit course where we are using the install and storage lab sim by test out for it. So final grades, what all am I going to grade you on this semester? You'll see that there's a couple assignments in the very beginning. You're going to submit a Google Doc that has screenshots showing that you did a bunch of hands-on labs that we've written throughout the semester. I'm going to look at how many hours you put in the lab sim product, and that'll be part of your score. We're also, just like I did in our Client Pro class, I'll look at all the quizzes and hands-on activities in your actual lab sim product itself. And then finally, for the final exam, we're going to use the certification exam, just like we did in ITNET 110 this summer. So it's being run very similar to ITNET 110. I think the difference is you didn't have required hands-on activities in this semester. You do. So the best way to get started with our class, my online classes as always, is read the announcements and do assignment number 1. I'm assuming you're doing that because you're watching the screencast. So with that, let's just jump into the syllabus, and I'll just kind of walk through and cover a lot of this in more detail. I should be able to keep it pretty quick because I've already had you for the client class, but you've got my contact information. You know how to get a hold of me. My office hours are posted on the website. You also know that if you want to meet outside those office hours, we can schedule something, and the same applies to Tony as well. So here's a list of the different topics that are going to be covered in your test out product. And if you just glance over them, I think the takeaway is, holy smokes, it's a pretty varied set of topics. Everything from Active Directory to high availability to virtualization to different storage technologies. It's a lot of good stuff. Even the network services and networking. It's great. Actually, I like the networking piece a lot just because it reinforces some of the content that you had in Cisco material. Okay, so I've got the lab sim or test out product listed here. Again, one product for 2 courses. You can buy it at our bookstore, or you can save a few bucks and just buy it through the publisher. As far as the course outcome summary goes, this link just takes you to the test out site and just kind of gives you a summary of what's in their product. And I guess I had the certification here. Actually, I'm probably one link too deep, but you can kind of see what's skills being assessed. Easy for me to say. And now I'm not going to find it while I'm looking for it, right? I feel like one of those things that you're putting up, like you see in books, and it's on your own to go research this. But let's see here, view course outline. 85 simulations, a lot of simulations. So anyways, you can run through this sometime on your own, but there is just a ton of material. I forgot there was the PowerShell. I have to admit I'm not overly impressed with in the product. It's decent, but you'll have me for ITNET 159 where we'll do a lot more in PowerShell. So we're covering a lot of content this semester, and I'm excited that you're going to be able to, by treating it as a 6-credit course, to really get through all of it and do a good job with it. All right. Here's my syllabus. So, obviously you're going to do assignment number 1 first to kind of get yourself geared up for the class. I can just show you real quick. You probably have already looked at it because you're doing it now, but part of me is just making sure my link I have the correct link. Yeah. A lot of the videos that I have students watch in my regular classes you already watched this summer, so I'm just kind of reminding you that they're out there in case you want to check them out. But you should have already installed VMware Workstation and had a little bit of experience with it this summer. So now we'll start using it more on a weekly basis for ITNET 112. You're all aware of the Microsoft Imagine program. If not, you can check my screencast out on it. But again, it's a great deal if you're looking for a Microsoft operating system or some other applications are out there. So part of assignment number 1 is having you make a copy of this lab screenshot document. And let me just show you why that's important. We're going to jump back to the syllabus real quick, and we're going to look at kind of like what you're doing on a weekly basis in here. If you look at the rightmost column, there's a whole bunch of labs that I want you to do. And just there's some are long, and some of these labs are like 30 pages, some are just a few pages long. So here's an activity. You're going to work with a server and a client machine, and you just kind of run through and just do the activities. Again, this is reinforcing what you're learning in the test out product. And then what I do is just along the way I have you taking screenshots in each of these tasks here just to show me that you've done it. So if we go back to the assignment, what I've done is I've created a document for you a template or document for you to put your screenshots in. So let me just open that up. And what you're going to do is you're going to make a copy of it, put your name in there. You could even rename it with your first name, last name kind of thing. But basically, so when you go through, lab 0 or lab 1, I just tell you each of these bullet points is a screenshot. Post a screenshot of the output from step 10 showing a successful ping. Post a screenshot of step 12 showing another successful ping. That's not too exciting. But really this is just a way for me to verify that you've done all the labs that I have listed in the syllabus. So by the end of the semester, good for you, you're done, and then bad for me, I'll probably have like an 80-page document from each of you or a 50-page document with all these screenshots in it. But that's in my opinion, that's a great way just to verify that you're doing the content. And the idea of these labs are just to reinforce what you're learning in the test out product. So if we jump back to assignment number 1, that's what we got here. I have you making a copy of it and sharing it with me right away. And then I've just got a few questions I want you to run through here, answer them, and then post them in a discussion board like we did this summer in the client class. So assignment 1 is not too big. And close some of these out that we don't need. Okay. So let's just take a look at the syllabus in a bit more detail. Each week I have 1 or 2 chapters from test out that you're doing. That's kind of like, I guess, the third column. The fourth column shows you if there's any additional assignments on top of the test out chapters. So if I look on September 10th, what should I have done? I should have completed assignment number 1. We just looked at that, and you should have completed test out chapters 1 and 2. So that would include the simulations and the practice quizzes at the end of each section in those 2 chapters. September 17th, what should I have got done? Well, what should you have gotten done? Chapter 3 from test out, and also I want you to have completed assignment number 2, which is our lab setup assignment. This is just like the Client Pro class. Basically, I have you going through getting our virtual machines, either downloading them or stopping by an academic support center, and then just doing some real basic activities. We're kind of exposing you to some of the snapshots, which are a really cool feature in VMware Workstation. A snapshot is essentially just like a snapshot in time. So you can have a VM that's running. If you take a snapshot of it, you can always go back to that point in time. It's really nice when you have a pretty complex configuration and you're afraid of messing your server up. You can take a snapshot, or if you do mess your snapshot up, or when you do, you just can revert back to the snapshot. So that's kind of snapshots are really good. So at the end of this activity, you've basically fired up 3 virtual machines that we'll be using throughout the course, and just kind of messing around with them. Not a ton of learning here. Really, the whole idea is just get familiar with and comfortable with using our virtual machines that you will then use throughout the rest of the semester. All right, so I just kind of there's the to-do list for your fall from now through like December 20th, basically. You can see on the right, I've got about a dozen labs that you're going to be doing, and each of these labs you'll be adding screenshots to that screenshot document. And at the very end, on the December 17th, there's also the final exam is our certification exam. If you're wondering why some of the rows are kind of like shaded and others aren't, basically the ones that are white are the ones that I'm going to do, and the ones that are shaded are the ones that Tony is going to do. So we took the lab sim product and we just split it up a little bit. All right. As far as grading goes, there's 2 assignments that you're going to do this semester. The first one is assignment number 1. It takes an hour to do. And the second assignment is that lab setup assignment, which is basically just getting familiar with using our virtual machines that you'll then use throughout the semester in ITNET 112 and 111. 10% of your grade is that screenshot document, so that jumps back to, I just showed you a second ago, the screenshot document. I don't have the link here. I guess it's in assignment 1, but I know you just saw it, so I won't go back to revisit it again. But that's 10% of your grade, and I will look at how many hours you put, or Tony and I will look at how many hours you put in the lab sim product, and that'll kind of determine part of your grade. I have some initial breakdown here. I might tweak it a little bit, but basically we figure if you put in at least 40 hours, it's probably more like 60, but we're just putting 40 for now, and we'll see. That will get you full credit for this 10% of your grade, and it drops down from there. This is our first semester with students using this test out product, so I'm really anxious to get your feedback on it and to really get a feel. I can track your progress online just to see how much time you are spending on it. I think there's a lot of material there. The lab sim itself, that's pretty much it's the lab sim itself. I'm just checking my percentages here. Yeah, I think I can't add. I guess that's right. I won't change it. Oh, I see. 10%. And 50%. Nope. Okay. So there it is. There's not a lot of new things here. You've got 2 assignments. You've got some screenshots from some labs that we've written. You were looking at how much time you spend in the lab sim, and we want you basically to spend the bulk of your time working through the product and getting ready to take that certification exam. Let me just kind of keep stepping through here to see if there's anything else I want to talk about. The last half of the syllabus is kind of a template that all of our online syllabuses have, and basically it just kind of talks about our responsibilities and your responsibilities. Now, I really feel like with an accelerated group, this is you're kind of like the dream group of students. I mean, we've worked with all of you. We have a lot of respect for you, and it's just kind of like part of this. What this is really saying is we're going to treat you the way we'd expect to be treated, and vice versa. I always tell my students in my face-to-face classes, I pretty much try to treat my students the same way I'd want someone to treat one of my kids if they were in a class. I mean, I really want them to treat them with respect. I want them to go out of their way to help them when they can. I want them to be monitoring their progress, and if they're just kind of trying to proactively cut off issues before they come up. So, and the last part pretty much covers things like student responsibilities, instructor responsibilities, discrimination. Again, we'd expect. As you'd expect, you're going to be treated the way we'd want to be treated, and vice versa. So take a look at this on your own. If you have any questions, let me know, or let Tony know. We can use the Google Plus community for posting questions and responses to this. And actually for the class, we'll be using that a lot. And that's our course. This one really quick because I've just had you this summer for the Client Pro class, which again you guys did a fantastic job in. So if you have any questions, let me know. And probably the one thing I'll just mention, I know some of you you get going these lab sims. I'm amazed how fast you go. This lab assignment 2 has been updated. Oh hey, that's Elaine Davis. It's kind of funny. So, talking about Tony, and I've got the other instructor, other fast track instructor contacting me right now. But anyways, I have a screencast I created to complement assignment number 2. Let me just go to my webpage real quick. And this has not been updated yet, so it's going to take me a week or so to get it updated. And basically, this screencast, this lab setup is currently written for Server 2012 machines, and obviously we updated those to Server 2016. So I need to get going and get that recorded as well. So I hope this is helpful. I feel kind of bad, not a lot of new material here. It's just basically telling you that we're using a test out product. We've got a bunch of hands-on written labs, and otherwise it's pretty much what you'd expect based on the Client Pro class you had this summer with me. Keep working. You guys are getting near the end, and I've been really impressed with how well you've been doing as a group. So keep up the great work, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.